Alright, that is exactly 9.5. Come out here, I go to an up tooth, so you got to check on your up teeth, and that is exactly 1/16 over 9.5. So if I run this out as far out as I can go, you can go to this up tooth, bob tooth, I mean the tooth that's aimed up. Make sure you can get, see, that's a hard one to get because the debarker's in the way. I think actually the body's in the way, but even this one here, when I look at this one, we're 1/16 of an inch. So if we look here, if we measure this way, we can see that that's measuring, the tooth is on 9 5/8. That's where that's at. Okay, so we move the 4-foot level to the other side, and we get to that tooth. Well, you got to actually get it on a tooth, on the same tooth that rises. And that one is at just a hair over 9.5. So we're looking pretty good. So that worked. All right, there we go. So head alignment is perfect. 1/16 of an inch higher on the outside. That's where it's supposed to be. When that band digs in, it'll draw that down 1/16 of an inch and flatten it right out. They hung up on me. Dang cell phones. Yeah, I kind of talked to somebody in your tech support. Oh, good. Hey, James, Eric here. Hey, I got the bearings replaced on the lower portion of my LT40. One of the things I noticed though, when I got everything back together, the one bolt that comes up through the center and holds that bearing carriage in place, I just tightened it down, and then of course the head didn't move, so I had to back it off. And so I'm curious, is there a torque spec on that, or do you just back it off till things roll smoothly, or what is that supposed to be? Oh, I see. So in other words, the bearing itself, so you're talking about the track rod. So you want the bearing to kind of be sitting in the middle of the side that it rolls on of that rod, and you adjust that with that bolt. Okay. Well, the good news is I didn't lose any alignment. I'm still. It was 1/16 of an inch is six. Well, I mean, I set it on blocks of wood. I think you were the one I talked to, and I just set the far end on blocks of wood right under the head, actually, not on the guard itself, but underneath it. And I didn't lose it, but I just did the front, took all that off, and then put it all back on, and then I got, actually not the front, but the back one, I guess it would be. All right, well listen, thanks for the info. I appreciate that. I'll crawl back under the mill and have a look. Okay, so I got to climb back under the mill. Oh, that sun's right there, isn't it? I've got to climb back under the mill and just see that bearing is riding center of the rail underneath here. So what he's talking about, you didn't hear that half of the conversation, but if we climb under here, So you see the bearing is here, and that bearing is actually near the top here. So it needs to be lowered so that it's riding in the center of this rail here. I hope you can see that. So to do that, you actually have to loosen this bolt enough to lower this carriage down, just enough to bring this bearing here. Let's see if I can show this way. To bring the bearing here down so that it's centered on the rail here. So I'll get to it, and we'll get that on film, I guess. Why not? Okay. So now that bearing there is much closer to riding in the center of this rail. I will tell you, I've got probably 3/16 of an inch up above the bearing. Looking down there on that bearing, I have less. I also see on that bearing what looks like it could be worn as well, and I have not replaced that yet. I chose not to replace this bearing. That shot, that's bad. I chose not to replace that bearing because it felt really good, but I could see now I need to replace that one too. So I'm probably gonna have to replace that tonight. Shoot, hadn't counted on that. So go figure. Well, that's disappointing. They need to replace that second bearing. I should have done it. Wood Mizer told me to do both. And honestly, this old Jarhead, I thought, you know, it ran so good with one, I won't put the second one on. I don't need to. It's fine. Wrong. That second one is not in good shape. So, I may not film that since I did the first one. I just got to get it done. So I'm going to get cracking, but you know, I'll put this out for you. So hopefully that makes sense. That center bolt, the one that everybody was wondering about, that's just to adjust the height of that bearing on that lower guide rail. So got her done. Now I got to fix the other one. It looks good, down half a quart, but otherwise it looks really good. So we'll drop half a quart in there. Inner filter looks good. Watch this. Yikes. Good thing I ordered a new one, huh? Get that replaced. Look at the difference. That's kind of amazing, really. So we'll get that done. Add a half a quart of 30 weight, I believe is what we're running in this sucker. Nice new filter. The oil looks really good though. I think 50 hours is a good rule of thumb. And this oil looks new, so I probably haven't run 50 hours since I did it last. I'd have to check my logs. All right, got to do some cleanup. Replace the bearing. Check my alignment again. Seems like the way I did it worked good though. And then head a long ways north. Be sure to hit that like button. Thanks for watching.